everyone. For this assignment, we're going to be talking about composition. Composition is how we put the parts together. And I'm giving you guys an assignment to try out 4 different types of composition. One is the S-curve composition, where there will be an S in it. Triangle composition, where there's something that looks like a triangle in it. Circle composition, where there's a circular type of area in it, and an L-shaped composition. And the L could be this way, it could be backwards. Same thing with the S. It doesn't always have to be like exactly an S shape. It just means that it's like curved somehow. And same thing with the L. It's like there's an angle in there somewhere to create the composition. So I'm doing mountains for this one, but I also created a couple other examples to show you. And I wanted to show them quickly and then show them again to you later, because I want to show you that it's not just that you can do it with mountains, but you can pick anything and you can create this. So here's a still life example. And then I did a little cartoon people example, and I'll explain those again at the end so you can see what I'm talking about with composition. Okay, I already have my ideas set, so if it seems like, oh, how come, the teacher can do it so fast? It's because I already decided on my ideas and I already put them in like these little mini sketches over here on another paper. That way I don't have to take the time to decide what I'm going to do. I already know beforehand. So here's a way to think about it. If I was going to do mountains and I want to do a composition, I want to put something together in my picture and I want to use an S curve, maybe it's easier to start with thinking about where the S is, or it might be easier to draw the mountains first and then decide where the S is. So do it in a way that's going to make sense to you. But I think sometimes it's easier to just put that S in there to start with. And I'm going to put kind of a S in there. I know you can't see that really well. I'm going to zoom in too. So I put kind of an S in there. See, it's not exactly like this S, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be exactly like that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my mountains that I want in there. And I had decided it was kind of like the sun is shining over here and it's creating a light spot on the mountains here and here. But then this area of the mountains is dark, so then that creates part of the S, and then it comes down into a tree area. And then the rest of the S curve was a path or a stream that's going back in here. So then it makes kind of an S shape. Now I am adding a little shading on here, but you guys don't actually have to add shading on yours. That's optional. I'm going to be talking about shading. That's my little sunshine, my pretend sunshine. I'm going to be talking about shading in the next sketch assignment. For now, if you just get the sketch in there itself, then that's good enough. But if you want to add shading, you can. Okay, I'm going to try to kind of cut that S up just a little bit, but it's still there. And if you are doing shading, a good way to do that is by either pressing harder or pressing softer with your pencil. Okay, so notice it's got an S there, but if that seems to distract it too much, I can darken part of that in and make it so it doesn't stand out as much so that my S comes out more. Now I'm going to move on to the triangle composition. And a lot of times we think about mountains as triangles anyway, so then it's easy to think of like, oh, okay, here's a triangle. It already kind of looks like a mountain. But maybe if I don't want it to be just too stiff and rigid, I can give it a couple of different bumps on there to make it a little bit more like an actual mountain. Maybe there's a little mountain in the background. And then there's some ground planes. That's another little mountain back there. Like fields that are coming towards me. I'm going to darken this one in too. I'm pretending that the sun is behind me. Or behind the mountain, not behind me, sorry. And if you have ever seen mountains as they go back in space, the ones that are farther back are lighter. Maybe there's a little grass in here too, or a tree or something. Make it more interesting. Okay, but keep it simple. Don't make it super complicated for yourself. That's some doodle clouds. Because these are supposed to be thumbnail sketches, not like full-on sketches that are completed and finished. Now for this circle. For the circle, I decided to put mountains on either side and then kind of leave a space with a little bit of mountain in the background and some clouds. So let me show you what I mean. Mountain drop off. And I saw a scene kind of like this in a photo that was taken a couple years ago at a national park. This is kind of like it, but not exactly. That's a lake. Here's some mountain in the background. Okay, and the clouds did not really look like it was making a circle though. But I'm creating it. I'm making the composition the way that I want it to be. Oop. I tilt a bit so you can see it more straight on. Okay, I'm holding the camera actually, so I hope this isn't coming out too wiggly for you guys to see. Because I know I don't really like watching things that are too wiggly either. Some trees. Maybe they're happy trees, right? Bob Ross happy trees. There's some trees over here. A little shadow on the cloud. Why not? It helps it to kind of create more of that round thing going on. Okay, there we go. It's kind of going around like that. I'm getting a little too complicated there. All right, moving on. Last one, the L shape. And for that one, I decided I would do a tree. That would be the top part of the L. I'm trying to move pretty quick now. And some ground for the bottom part of the L. And then, once I've got my L in there, I put a mountain, distant mountain, back here in the background. Maybe another little one right there. And voila, okay. We have our 4 compositions, and then like I said, I was going to point out to you guys how I created these ones. So S, like this, fruit, going, triangle. See how that one's pointing down to here, to another point, and then going here, and then it's like you come back up, so triangle shape. This one's pretty easy to see. We have a circle for the basket, and then L, follow it down, and then I put a couple pieces of fruit over here too to kind of keep the L going. And the cartoon people, these ones I started by drawing the shape a little bit and then trying to figure out how to put it in. So here's a guy, he's sitting down on the couch, and he's kind of lazy and droopy, and he's a S shape. Here's a girl reading a book. I put a triangle in, and then I filled in her leg, her back, head, and then another leg and arm over here in a little book. Circle, I thought, oh, well, why don't we just do a head? And fill it in, put a little background in, and then L, here's the person's head, and then their arm is stretching out, and it kind of frames it in for us, and then we look towards this person who's running on the path going this way. All right, that's it, and I hope you guys understand the 4 different types of composition I want you to do. Remember to label all of your compositions and keep them small.